The Bible can be used for just about any purpose. At one time, it served as an excuse for slavery. And guess what? The Bible does condone slavery. Later on, it was used to deny women the right to vote. It's for reasons like these that I get upset when Christians say that we need their religion in order to have moral values. Nowadays, their holy book is used against lesbians and gays, and it's Christians' excuse for pouring hatred against this minority. I went searching for all sorts of examples. I could have limited myself to the Westboro Church and found plenty of material, but that would have been too easy. Not only that, but I believe that the members of Westboro are no different from the rest of Christianity. They're just more verbal. Anyway, finding examples wasn't that difficult, as you'll soon see. Here's a teenager whose behavior makes you wonder how he was brought up, and yet he was right at home with the rest of the people who were there manifesting against gay marriage.
So gay bashing is kind of fun, you know.
It's kind of fun.
Because when they come out of their like gay bars and stuff and they're walking and you beat them up and they're like, oh, leave me alone. They're so fat.
Violence can be expressed in many ways. When it's not physical, which luckily is not the rule, it can be verbal. Christians claim to love and care about gays and lesbians' well-being, and yet they use hateful language.
I call them queer, strange, perverts, sodomites. That's what the Bible says, so that's my word for them. I don't use the word gay.
Apparently cannot have a primetime television show without a queer on it. And the queer is the happiest, and the queer is the funniest, and the queer is the smartest, and the queer has the most friends.
And when the topic of same-sex marriage comes up, oh well, the gloves come right off. Everything goes. It can even be compared to pedophilia. And when Christians run out of ideas, they let insinuations do the job.
Reality. And ultimately, what about child molestation and pedophilia? How can we criminalize these things at the same time have constitutional amendments allowing same-sex marriage among homosexuals?
Some of the nation's foremost scholars warn that gay marriage can create widespread legal conflicts for individuals, small businesses, and religious organizations.
I want to bring the issue into my life.
My freedom will be taken away.
I'm a California doctor who must choose between my faith and my job.
You can even accuse them of plotting against the institution of marriage, of being jealous and wanting to destroy what others have. Christians don't care if they make things up. They sell fear and hatred.
Anti-marriage movement. The homosexuals are not looking for the activists are not looking for the white picket fence. They don't really want marriage in the traditional monogamous sense of a lifelong relationship. The reality is that most of these activists are looking to attack the institution of marriage because it is something that was given to us by God, something designed by God. Ultimately, this is an act of rebellion against
what homosexuals can do. They don't really care about how much they destroy. They don't care about destroying family. They don't care about destroying some of the most important parts of our society.
But let's not forget the children. We must always keep in mind that homosexuals' ultimate goal is to abuse and convert children to their way of life, right?
Marriage, it will change. They will use that legal leverage to teach the kids in the school something I don't want my kids to be taught.
If the Christians are that worried about the sanctity of marriage, well, let them worry about divorce then. Because every word in the Bible is true, right? Let's see what the Bible says about marriage. Matthew chapter 19, from 4 to 9. Haven't you read, he replied, that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female, and said, for this reason a man will leave his father and mother, and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one. Therefore what God has joined together, let man not separate. Why then, they asked, did Moses command that a man give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away? Jesus replied, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because your hearts were hard. but it was not this way from the beginning. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for marital unfaithfulness and marries another woman commits adultery. In Mark 10:2-9, some Pharisees came and tried to trap him with this question: should a man be allowed to divorce his wife? What did Moses say about divorce? Jesus asked them. Well, he permitted it, they replied. He said a man merely has to write his wife an official letter of divorce and send her away. But Jesus responded, he wrote those instructions only as a concession to your hard-hearted wickedness. But God's plan was seen from the beginning of creation, for he made them male and female. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Since they are no longer two but one, let no one separate them, for God has joined them together. So, dear Christians, friends, if you really care about the sanctity of marriage, and you think every word of the Bible is true, well, why don't you follow what it said? My wife and I have been together for 30.5 years now. And if a gay or lesbian couple decides to get married, it won't change a thing to our relationship. If Christian couples are that worried about the sanctity of marriage, let them work on how they treat one another and worry less about what happens in other people's lives. Maybe there will be fewer divorces that way. Thank you for your time, people. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I would really appreciate if you could take a second or two to rate or comment my video.